Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so in the previous video we were discussing the idea of this being a five-wave move off the high here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and what we're saying is we're looking for this potential of this fifth wave here, which could look to carry us down towards this zone of this 25,140 to this 24,429 level. Now we have actually rejected off of just below the 0.382, which is sitting here at this 26,172. Now it's unclear as to whether this is actually a completed move. The problem that we have here is the time. So if we haven't actually completed this wave 4 into this high here, we have started to cross beyond this 4 times the length of the wave 2 in the time duration. So this is meaning that if we do continue to consolidate here and see a bit more of a wider move developing here, something like this, effectively it becomes less likely that this is a wave 4. It is possible that in extreme circumstances we can get wave 4s which extend out a little bit more when we're looking at something like a triangle, but really I don't like it to go past this 4 times. It starts to become less probable that we're going to get this fifth wave down. If that does actually look to play out, what we would still need to be on the lookout for is that this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that this whole move becomes either a B wave or wave 2 before we look for continuation to the downside. We'll talk about that in a second. Now effectively what I'm looking for is that if this fourth wave is actually completed into this high here, what I would be expecting is the move to start to break down from that point. So our invalidation point would be this 26,135 level. What I would then be looking for here would be evidence of this wave 2. Now a typical zone we'd be looking for rejection would be between this 26,000 and this 25,779. So we can see here we've actually come up already into this 382 50% level. If we do look to find support here, see something like this, and then see another push to the upside, I would be interested to see how we react higher up here towards this 25,933 level to this 25,914. Other areas of interest would be up here at this 786 at this 26k level, because this would be bringing us back into this line of horizontal resistance and support that we've got in this area. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. If we do, however, push to the upside here and we break this 26,135 level, it becomes more likely then that actually what we're getting is a bigger move to the upside, which we're going to go over in a second. If, however, we remain below this and we just see a small three-wave structure develop here, what I'd be on the lookout for would be two things. Either this could become A, B, and C, and we could see a pushback down towards this low, forming a double bottom towards this 25,349 level. Or alternatively, if this is going to extend in that idea of a fifth wave, what we could be looking for is that this becomes 1, 2, we see a bigger third wave push down towards this 25k level before having a bounce up and then an additional fifth wave here towards this 24,922 zone. If we do see something like this, this would align well with the idea of having this fifth wave over here, which, as we can see, our fifth wave target zone is this 25,140 to this 24,829. So this would be looking at that idea of having this as one more push down in this fifth wave. Now, this would then mean that effectively what we could have here is a completed move from further back here, where what we are saying is that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and what we're looking for is a fifth wave to the downside. Now, within looking at the target box area of this, what we have here is that the actual yellow target box is lower down here towards this 24,514 to this 23,495. So if we do start to get extension within this fifth wave, potentially we could see a drop lower down here, in which case what I would be on the lookout for would be the potential to actually see price move back down into the bottom of this channel, which would align with coming back into some of these lower zones. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this if we do see this fifth wave actually looking to extend out. Now, if we do look at an extension within this, what we need to be a little bit careful of is that there is also the possibility that from further back here, if we come onto the hourly here, that what we could see here is that we have extension from further back here, where this becomes 1, 2, this becomes 1, 2, and we could see a much more bearish situation where effectively what we'd be looking for would be a wave 3 to the downside. Now, if we're looking for something like this, what we need to be careful of is that if we do complete this idea of having a 5-wave structure to the downside, what we could then see is a 3-wave move back to the upside here. Now, if we do just see a smaller 3-wave structure which fails to take this high here of this 28,142, we need to be on the lookout for this idea of continuation, where we could see price either look to break down where this becomes ABC for W, this becomes an X wave here, and then we get this as another A, B, and a C. So effectively this becomes a bigger WXY pattern, or alternatively we could actually just see this develop impulsively to the downside, where we see price actually look to push down towards this 21,615. If we do see something like this play out, where we get this additional 5th wave to the downside here, we see a smaller 3-wave move up, we come back down to this 1618, which would be this 21,615. We only get 3 waves back to the upside. We could actually be looking to come back down here and test out this lower range of this 21,253 to this 20,670 level. So this is the danger that we have at the moment. As long as we fail to actually break back above this 28,148 level, we do need to be on the lookout for the possibility that we could see this continuation to the downside looking to play out. So this is why it's going to be very important that within this idea of this move that we're tracking here, what we are saying is that within the bullish case here, we're looking for this as A, B, and we want 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th wave to the downside. Now, this would mean that we'd have a flat here. Now, the only way we're going to have confirmation that this is a flat is once we take this high again at this 31,804. Failing to actually take the high would mean that we cannot rule out the idea that even if we do get this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, until we actually break back above this, if we get 3 waves up, this could actually lead to that continuation down. So we need to be cautious of that idea here, that if we do look to complete this 5-wave move down and we can't break back above these highs here, this could actually be the first indication that from here we have this as a bigger move, where this becomes either A, B, and a bigger C wave, or a 1, 2, and a 3 to the downside. So that's why we need to be just a bit cautious of what we see playing out from this point here. If we do start to see, more aggressive selling coming in here, we need to be careful of that idea of the extension. If we start to see this break back above these highs here, though, what we could actually see is something more along the lines of this, where the move is incomplete. Now, currently what I'm looking for is that, if this move has completed as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here, what this would mean is that we could actually see this retrace as a B wave from this point. Now, within this idea, what we'd be saying is that we've actually completed this wave 1 over here, and we're looking for the potential of forming this as a wave 2. So this is why we need to be just a bit careful here, that if we do see this extend to the upside one more time, and we actually look to push up back towards this 1382 to this 121 level here of this 26,374 to this 26,690 level, if we do see price just come back up here in 3 waves, we need to be cautious of the idea that this could actually be the wave 2 forming here already, or a B wave, and then we could be looking for that continuation down. So it's going to be crucial here to see exactly how the price actually reacts, and whether we see that continuation come in afterwards, or whether we start to see some bullish price action developing to the upside here. Now, the thing is within this idea here is that until we actually see some kind of a move past this 26,887, the likelihood is that we're still going to see that continuation down. If, however, we see price do this as A, B, and we see a C wave that starts extending beyond this 26,887 level, we need to be open to the interpretation that we could argue that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a diagonal pattern here. Now, it is not the cleanest of structures here. You would actually potentially be cleaner counting it in this way into this high. The problem is, like I said, it would be counted as a diagonal, which reduces the probability of this actually being an impulsive structure. So just need to keep an eye on it, though. If we start to break back above this 26,887 level, what we could then see is that from this low, we start to get this as 1, 2, 3. Then we'd be expecting to hold this wave 1 high, and then looking for a 4th and a 5th. Starting to develop a 5-wave move like this could mean one of 2 things here. If we do start to see something like this, it could mean that from further back here, we just have something like this, where this is A, B, and C, which is not my favorite way of looking at this, because this move up here does look impulsive and would make more sense as A, B, and C as this way. But it's still something worth keeping an eye on. If we do see this develop as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's going to become then important whether we hold this 25,333 level, because if we do manage to hold this zone, we could potentially look for a rally to the upside from this area. But, and like I said, until we actually start taking some of these highs here, the likelihood is that price is going to be continuing down, in my opinion. Another count that we've talked about previously, but I haven't talked about in a while, was the potential that we could see something more complex happening at the top end of this move. Now, if we are looking at this move as actually completing further back here into this high where we can see this yellow A wave, what we need to be on the lookout for here is that if we do form this, even if this is A, B, and C here, this could actually all just form an A wave. And then what we could actually see here is a 3-wave move to the upside. Now, there's 2 zones that I'm looking at here. The orange zone over here would be if this is going to be a regular B wave pattern. If we're going to get something like an irregular flat pattern, what we could also potentially see is a push back up into this 33,500 to this 31K region before still seeing an additional push to the downside in a C wave. Now, what this would allow for is a bit more of a larger sideways consolidation above these support zones, looking for a push to the upside, looking to sweep liquidity above these zones, and then seeing a final push back down into these levels once again with an aggressive sell-off in the C wave, then looking for that possibility of continuation up. So this is something I'm also keeping an eye on, the bigger picture, that if we do continue to consolidate above these highs here, what we could see is a bit of sideways price action here, looking to actually do some liquidity sweeping above these highs, then coming back down, looking to actually have a bigger sell-off into this lower zone here before actually seeing that continuation to the upside. So this is why I'm monitoring the idea of, seeing some kind of a reversal to the upside here, but until we actually see price breaking back above these highs, particularly this 28,142, it is starting to look more likely that we're going to see this continue to push down from this level. The thing that is worth noting is that currently we are sitting on the value area low. If we look at this whole area as a range, you can see here that we're sitting just on this value area low, and it is offering us support time and time again, but these things can potentially break. So if we do look to break some areas lower down here that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, would be towards this 24,900 level and this area here, this 24K. So somewhere within that region. That would also align quite nicely with the idea of this being a C wave, where we're looking for this target area here between this 25,360 to this 23,646 level would be quite an interesting zone to keep an eye on, particularly looking to sweep this low over here of this 24,753 level if we do see price continuing down into this zone. If, however, we do see price looking to push back to the upside, I would be cautious around this point of control once again. As we can see, we did have a bit of a rally here, faced a rejection, and had this sell-off to the downside. Now, it's going to be key to see what happens here. If we do continue to hold this, we always have the potential that we could see price look to revisit this point of control, which is sitting up here towards this 27,997 level. And then, if we do see a bigger 3-wave structure up here, what we could see is a move back up into this value area high level, which would be towards a 30,582 level. So that's something just worth keeping an eye on in the future here to see if we get some interactions with these zones. Coming in here and having a look at the daily CPR lines, what we can see is that we've actually had an interaction with our central lines already today. These were printed, we came up into them, we've rejected off into the S1 line here, and now we have moved back up. Now this could be offering us resistance here between this 25,838 to this 25,867 level. If we do fail to break back above these, other targets to the downside for today would become this 25,376. We have 25,123, 24,896 as potential downside targets. If, however, we start to see price get back above these central lines, I will be looking at these upper target lines here. So we have the R1 line sitting at this 26K region, which would be quite an interesting zone. We also have the previous daily high sitting a little bit higher at this 26,106. Then other targets to the upside would be 26,333, 26,556, and this 26,803 as possible upside targets. Moving over here and having a look at the weekly pivots, what we can see is that we are still currently underneath our central lines. We haven't had an interaction, and this is why I'm thinking that the possibility here of this becoming an A, B, and a C pattern to the upside here is looking quite likely. So, you know, if we do move up here, going to be watching this 26,229. We have this 26,482, and this level up here of this 26,738 as a potential resistance above us. Now, we can always look to flip these into support, but if we do find resistance where this becomes a bigger ABC pattern, I will be looking out for the potential that price could actually look to push down and test some of these lower levels here. 24,828, 23,703, and this 22,016 level to the downside. If, however, we can see price looking to push back above these central lines here, what we could then see is the possibility of a retest of this R1 line here at this 27,622. Other targets for this week would be 29,286 and this 30,447 as potential upside targets. Now moving over here and having a look at the monthly pivots, what we can see is that we are currently underneath our central lines. The lower line is sitting at this 26,518. We have 27,124 and this 27,714 as potential resistance above us if we do see price looking to move back into these zones. If we do see price continue to fall away here, targets for this month remain here at this 24,000. We have 22,050 and all the way down here at this 18,919. Now, we don't always have to interact with all of these zones. We can potentially even not touch them. So just need to bear that in mind. But if we do see price move there, we could see the potential for a pivot. If we do see price starting to break through these central lines here, what I would then be looking for as upside targets for this month would be this 29,061, 32,207 and this 34,138 level as potential targets for this month. Now, this would align with that idea that we could start to see something a bit more complex playing out here, where effectively what we get is that idea that this whole move is actually completed into this low as an A wave, and we start to see some kind of a bigger corrective pattern looking to target out some of these higher levels, looking to sweep some liquidity in the zone here. So need to just be careful of this idea. But like I said, until we actually start breaking back above this high of this 28,172 level, we need to just be on the lookout for that continuation to the downside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.